Okay, hi everybody. We're going to talk about converting mixed and improper fractions, and then back. So from mixed to improper, and then from improper to mixed. Okay, so Jason has 2 pizzas for dinner, but he only eats 1.5. How can we describe this as a number? Okay, well, there's 2 ways. We can describe it as 1 plus a half, which is 1.5, which is a mixed number, an integer with a fraction. Or we can talk about it in terms of how many half slices did Jason eat. Okay, so in this case, we have 1 complete pizza, which is 2 halves. So that's going to be 3, so 2 halves plus 1 more. So it's a total of 3 halves. So which is an improper fraction, a fraction with a numerator, so the number on top, larger than the denominator. Annie here has 2 pizzas for dinner, but she only eats 1 whole pizza, which is a fair amount of pizza, and a quarter. So how can we describe this as a number? We can have 1 whole pizza and a quarter, so which is our mixed number. Or we can think of it in terms of how many quarter slices did Annie eat? Well, right away we know our whole pizza is going to have 4 pieces in it. So that's going to be 4 plus 1 more. Okay, which ends up being 5 halves, which is our improper fraction. So in this first example here, we have 1 whole and a half. Okay, which we can talk about in terms of half pieces, which would be a total of 3. Now what you don't want to try, you want to try and come up with a way of doing this so that you're not counting all the pieces. So really use that idea of a whole piece to speed up the process. So in the second sort of orange example, we have 1 and then 3/4. Okay, so that 1 is going to generate 4 pieces, I know. So that's going to be 4 plus 3 more, which is 7/4. Okay, the first green example there, we're going to have 2 1/4. Okay, that one's easy to see. And then if we convert that into an improper fraction, I know that each whole piece is going to have 4 pieces. So I have 2 whole pieces. So that's going to be 2 groups of 4 plus 1 more. Okay, so that's going to be a total of 8 and then 9. Okay, so 9/4. And the last one is split into 8 pieces. Okay, and so I can see there's 2 and 3/8. And then I'm going to look at each of those 2 whole pizzas as 8 pieces. So 8 plus another 8 is going to give me 16. And then 3 more, 17, 18, 19. So 19/8. Okay, so when we're converting and we're thinking of a mixed number to an improper fraction, we got to really look at that 2 wholes. Okay, and then what kind of pieces are we talking about? So we know based on the fraction that's there, we're talking about thirds. So we have 2 whole thirds, so 2 whole groups of 3. So lots are basically wholes, so whole amounts. So 2 lots of 3s. So we have 2 complete pizzas cut into thirds. So that's going to be 6 pieces. And then we have these extra pieces here, these 2 more. So that's going to be a total of 8 pieces. Okay, Same with this one. Okay, we have two whole groups of 4. Okay, so we're going to talk about our improper fraction as pieces of 4. So we have two whole groups of 4, which is going to be 8 in total. So 8, and then I can see that I have one more. So that's going to be 9, converted to an improper fraction. Okay, here I'm talking in terms of 3s. So I have 4 groups of 3, which is 12 plus 2 more. So that's going to be 14. So that's how I'm going to convert from mixed to improper. Now, if I was doing improper to mixed, in this case, I'd have to look at it as, okay, how many groups of 3 are there in 4? Okay, so I have 4 pieces in total, and how many are going to make a complete either pizza or, I don't know, what else is there be? A complete cake, something like that, right? So I know that if I have 4 pieces, I can make one complete cake if they're cut into thirds, which would be really big pieces of cake. Okay, so how many groups of 3 in 4? Well, there's going to be one group of 3 and then one piece left over, or 1/3 left over. So I can write my mixed number like that. Here, I have to look at how many in 7, how many halves are there, or how many groups of 2 are there, okay? If I have 7 pieces, I can make 3 groups of 2, and then I'd have 1 left over. So 3 and 1/2. Okay, this one, 23, a little harder to imagine, but I have to think about 7 times what gets me very close to 23. Okay, so 7 times 3 I know is 21, which gets me very close to 23. So I obviously can't go over 23 because I don't have that many pieces. So I always have to pick a number under 23. So how many groups of 7 in 23? Well, there's 3, and then I would have 2/7 left over. Okay, and then on your slides, the very last thing you're going to see is this, and you're basically going to be asked to convert from, in the first question, you're being asked, first question here, you're being asked to take the mixed number and convert it to an improper. So I have a whole piece and they're in groups of 2. So I'm going to write 2 down here, and I'm going to have a whole, which is 2 plus 1 more. So 2/3. Okay. In the second example, this time I'm given the improper fraction, and now I'm going to be thinking of it in terms of thirds. Okay. So how many thirds are in 7? How many groups of 3 can I make out of 7? Okay, well, I can make 2 groups of 3 with 1 left over, with 1/3 left over. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and fill that out. Cool. All right. Keep your questions for the Google Meet, and bye for now.